Imagine standing at the edge of a world that breathes in slow, wet sighs, where the air tastes of ancient resin and cold iron. You are not merely watching a storm, you are stepping into the memory of one, suspended in the heavy, velvet silence between thunderclaps. This is not just a forest, but a living archive of every drop of rain that has ever fallen here since the earth cooled enough to hold water. Feel the dampness seep into your bones, not as a chill, but as a grounding weight that pulls you down from the noise of your waking life. The pines do not rustle, they whisper secrets in a language older than human speech, waiting for you to stop talking and simply listen. Here, time does not tick forward, it pools around your ankles like dark, still water. Why does this forgotten place matter to you, sitting safely dry in your room? Because every storm you have ever feared carried within it the same chaotic energy that forged the strength of these trees. We are taught to shelter from the rain, to build walls and close our eyes against the wind, but here, we learn that survival is not about resistance. It is about bending until you are part of the landscape itself, unbreakable because you are fluid. There is a secret hidden in the roots of the oldest pine, a truth about resilience that contradicts everything you think you know about staying strong. I will show you what lies buried beneath the surface, but first, you must learn to see the light differently. Look closely at the needles, glistening with suspended droplets that catch the faint, bruised purple light of the coming night. Each needle is a tiny lens, refracting the storm into 1,000 miniature worlds that exist only for a second before falling to the earth. This is the first lesson of the forest. Nothing is solid, everything is fluid, and what appears permanent is actually just a temporary arrangement of water and air. The rain does not fall, it returns, completing a cycle that has been spinning for millennia without a single stutter. As you watch these droplets slide down the waxen surface, notice how they leave no trace behind, cleaning the world with every pass. Deeper in the woods, the light shifts from grey to a deep, soothing indigo that seems to emanate from the earth itself. The air grows heavier, charged with the static electricity of ozone, yet it feels strangely comforting, like a blanket pulled tight around your shoulders. This is the moment before the break, the tension that holds the world together in a fragile, beautiful pause. You might feel a slight prickle on your skin, not from cold, but from the recognition that you are part of this electrical web. The forest is humming a low-frequency vibration that resonates in your chest, syncing your heartbeat with the slow pulse of the soil. Do you hear that faint crack? It is not lightning, but the sound of a root shifting deep within the saturated earth, adjusting its grip on the world. This forest has survived centuries of gales that would have snapped lesser trees, not by standing rigid, but by letting go of what it could not hold. The secret I teased earlier is beginning to emerge. Strength is not stiffness. It is the ability to release control without losing yourself. When the wind screams through the branches, it is not an attack, but a conversation that demands your presence and your flexibility. You are being invited to let go of the need to be right, to be strong, or to be in charge. A single drop of rain falls from a high branch, tracing a slow, deliberate path through the humid air before hitting a broad fern leaf. The splash is silent in this dream space, rippling outwards in concentric circles that distort the reflection of the twilight sky. This ripple is a metaphor for your own anxieties, expanding outward until they touch the edges of your world, and then dissolving into nothingness. Watch how the water does not fight the leaf, it honors its shape, adapting perfectly to every curve and contour. In this adaptation, there is a profound peace that comes from accepting the terrain rather than trying to change it. As the storm intensifies, the sound transforms from a patter to a steady, rhythmic drumming that drowns out all other noise. This is the white noise of creation, the sonic backdrop against which your thoughts can finally settle and sink like stones in a pond. You are no longer thinking about tomorrow or yesterday, you are entirely contained within this endless wet now. The trees stand as silent guardians, their dark silhouettes softened by the falling water into blurs of charcoal and slate. There is no fear here, only the immense, quiet power of nature doing exactly what it was designed to do without apology or explanation. Beneath the surface, the water is rising, filling the hollows and cracks in the ancient bark of the mother pine. This tree has stood here for 300 years, witnessing storms that have since become history books and footnotes. But inside its core, there is a chamber of dry air, a secret pocket where the sap continues to flow regardless of the deluge above. This is the second open loop. How does something remain untouched by the chaos surrounding it? The answer lies not in isolation, but in the depth of your roots and the integrity of your center. Look up through the canopy, where the rain tries to obscure the sky, but only succeeds in painting it with streaks of soft silver and pale violet. The light is diffused, gentle, removing all harsh shadows and edges from the world around you. This is the visual equivalent of mental clarity that comes after a long period of confusion. Everything becomes smooth, rounded, and manageable. The storm is not destroying the forest. It is washing away the dust of daily life, revealing the true colors of the woods underneath. Feel your own mental clutter being rinsed away, drop by drop, until only the essential remains. A small bird takes shelter under the wide boughs of a cedar, its feathers fluffed against the dampness, perfectly still. It does not struggle against the wet. It accepts it as part of the moment, conserving energy for the calm that will inevitably follow. This is the wisdom of the storm-soaked forest. Activity is not always the answer. Sometimes the most powerful action is to be utterly still. You are learning to mirror this bird, to find a place under the branches where you can wait out the turbulence without panic. The world continues to spin, but your inner circle remains calm and centered. The smell of petrichor rises from the forest floor, a complex scent of ozone, damp earth, and sweet pine resin that triggers a deep, primal memory. This aroma is the signature of life recharging, of the soil drinking deeply to prepare for the new growth that will come when the sun returns. Inhale this virtual scent. Let it fill your lungs with the promise of renewal and the certainty that endings are always just beginnings in disguise. The storm is not an interruption of life. It is the very engine that drives it forward, clearing space for what needs to grow next. Notice how the rain begins to slow, the heavy drumming fading into a sparse, delicate tapping against the leaves. This transition is gradual, almost imperceptible, mirroring the way your own stress levels are dropping with each breath you take. The tension that held the air tight is loosening, allowing light to penetrate deeper into the understory of the forest. The shadows retreat, not because they are afraid, but because the balance of power is shifting back to the sun. You feel lighter now, as if the weight of the water has been transferred from your shoulders to the earth below. A single sunbeam pierces the canopy, illuminating a patch of moss that glows with an emerald intensity. This beam is a spotlight on the resilience we discussed earlier. The forest did not break, it merely absorbed and adapted. The water droplets on the leaves now act as prisms, scattering tiny rainbows across the dark bark of the trees. These fleeting arcs of color are the rewards for waiting, the small beauties that only appear after the chaos has passed. You begin to understand that the storm was not an obstacle to your peace, but the necessary condition for it. The last of the raindrops fall from the highest branches, each one hitting the ground with a finality that signals the end of the cycle. The silence that follows is not empty, it is full of the echo of what just happened, a resonant quiet that feels earned and deep. The forest exhales, releasing the humidity into the cooling air, creating a fresh, crisp atmosphere that invites you to move forward. You are no longer the same person who stood at the edge of this woods minutes ago. You have been washed clean, reset, and realigned. The secret history of this storm is now part of your own internal narrative. As you step back from the trees, you carry with you the knowledge that you can bend without breaking. The storm was not something to be feared, but a teacher that showed you how to flow around obstacles rather than crashing against them. This realization is the final payoff. Resilience is not a shield, it is a dance with the elements of change. You leave the forest, but the forest remains within you, in the steady rhythm of your breath and the calm of your mind. The world outside may still be noisy, but you now possess the silence of the deep woods. The next time you feel the pressure building in your chest, remember the weight of the rain on the pine needles. Remember that even the tallest trees bow to the wind, and in that bowing, they find their true strength. You are capable of holding space for the storm without becoming the storm itself. Let this truth settle into your bones as you drift deeper into sleep, anchored by the memory of a forest that knows how to endure. Sleep now, knowing you are as rooted and resilient as the ancient pines in the mist.